Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Azure Windows Virtual Desktop for Remote Workers webinar through Simply Mail Solutions. As many of you know, and for those of you who are familiar with ourselves, we're a Microsoft Gold CSP partner with a vast range of expertise specialising within the Microsoft stack. At present, we are one of the only few companies offering Azure through Microsoft's channels partners. And at this time, we have a great portfolio of Azure customers spanning various sectors through various countries. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use the Q&A section within the meeting and we'll answer these at the end for you. Okay, so today, SMS will be conducting a slightly different webinar to what maybe you've seen from us in the past, hopefully with no technical glitches. So we're going to be talking you through a remote working experience demo and outline how different the landscape looks in comparison from traditional remote desktop solutions. Right now, Windows Virtual Desktop is at the peak of aiding all types of businesses continue to work within the present and furthermore the future of remote working. This solution has the ability to drastically scale with ease depending on requirement. And today we are joined by our Azure infrastructure consultant, Michael. Welcome, Michael.
Hi everyone, thank you Sarah, it's a pleasure to be here.
So before we go into too much detail on how this landscape has changed, I believe it would be better to give everyone a brief experience of how these solutions look. So I'm going to hand you back to Michael to demonstrate this for us on really how it will look to the end user.
So what I'm going to do today is take you through a quick guide on how easy it is to use the solution, how to navigate through it, and what the sort of general experience is to have this solution in your business. So I'm going to take you through two steps of how you can easily access this, bearing in mind that WVD doesn't really matter what endpoint device you use it from, so it doesn't matter if you don't have a desktop machine or a laptop, you can access it through them as well as mobile phones, tablets, or pretty much any device you can gain access to that has a connection to the internet. So first of all, I'm going to show you the one button click icon here that you can see on the desktop at the moment, which is very similar to what you would see when you would RDP to a machine. So again, very easy to use. We'll just wait for this to load up. You can have multiple users depending on whether you need to access a different type of desktop, depending on what your business requirements is. If you would have like a Sage system or a finance system or anything else like that. But I will quickly go through logging in to one of these. So I'll do this now. And as you would normally, you would log in. So this is secured back to your 365 tenant or your Azure system. And as you can see here, very, very similar to what you probably used to using already. And that's because Microsoft now offer their very only cloud offering of Windows 10 multi-session desktop. And as you can see, it's very, very similar to what you were used to. So there's no requirement for learning, no cost expenditure in making sure that your employees are able to work with this sort of solution. And I'll quickly go through loading some of these applications up and show you exactly what the experience is and how fast this is. So as you can see on the top side here, all this is registered already to the user that's logged in, and you can navigate quite easily through this system and copy up certain information or not, depending on your business requirements, to publish stuff to this environment. So that is one way of being able to access this. And in this click button option, it allows you to be able to span the screen, so you can have multiple screens with this solution, whereas some other solutions you might not be able to have that capability. So again, it's giving that extra feature that you would businesses may require, especially if you're using multiple things within this environment. So I'll quickly come out of this and so I'll disconnect from that one. And again, you don't need that option. You can just access this through another means, which I'm going to show you now. So I just quickly load up this. As you see, it's already connected in here. But if I load up a new window for you, all you would need is the URL, which will happily provide to you if you take up this solution. You go to the website, logs in like any normal website would do. And then connect you into your platform here, so you can get back to the same thing. And this option here will be displayed for anybody that takes up the desktop solution itself. We'll allow this again, and we'll have to log in as you would normally do to any sort of solution like this. And this can be even more secure if you were using multi-factor authentication, or if you have any security policies you want to put in place. At this stage, this would be part and parcel of the environment. So I'll just log into this one now for you, and just show you how quick you can transition between these requirements. And because you've already connected in, it will take you right back to the same session you have, so you have no worry about losing any information and data. Anything within the WVD environment will be saved back to profile like you generally would do if you would have roaming profiles. And the solution is synergetic across all these devices. Again, you know, it's easily accessible. So I'll come out of here, and now we've shown you that experience, I'll pass you back over to Sarah. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that, Michael, for that demonstration. So here at SMS, we pride ourselves in adjusting to the customer's needs and making it as easy as possible, assisting in every step with yourselves to get the right solution for you. So this leads right into the next section, one for you techies out there, and we'd like to cover what difference does Windows Virtual Desktops have over other remote desktop solutions. So Michael will now take you through the technical differences between the standard RDS solutions and the new Azure Windows Virtual Desktop.
Hi again, yes, thank you, Sarah, for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through some slides with you in regards to what traditional environments used to look like, the way it's moving now, and explain to you exactly why it's moving, in what aspects it's moving into, and, you know, in regards to the costs and everything else there, to explain that this is a new solution that would be advantageous to any business, really, even depending on size. So I'm just going to pull these slides up for you now so you can see this. So traditionally, this is what you would expect to see. You would have a remote desktop web access, so you'd have a web server in to give you that sort of similar experience that you would be to logging into a website. That obviously comes with costs as well. And then a gateway server, you traditionally see some sort of access to the environment to be able to authenticate through, very much like you would see on a normal Microsoft RDS solution, or again a Citrix Nextscaler or a sort. Again, brings further costs to that sort of solution. You would then have to bring out your SQL database, as well as remote desktop licensing and licensing for any other application or solution you'd use, like for instance Citrix licensing, and then management of this as well. You would also have to cater for before you even got to your remote desktop virtualization or your session hosts. Now, that has all changed with Windows Virtual Desktop. It's simplified it a hell of a lot, and in such, it's actually driven down the price for this sort of solution. Now, traditionally, if you don't have this sort of setup, you would then have to invest in other hardware or other software solutions like VPN gateways in order to facilitate access to this environment for your employees to be able to work from home or remotely. And then again, with those similar solutions, you're very restricted to what devices you can use within that environment. So we're here to drive down the barriers, to drive down the cost, to make it more accessible for businesses, just to drive the business forward into this new age of remote working. What I'll do now is I'll move on to the next slide for you and show you exactly what I mean. So here on the left hand side, you will see these clients and partner managed. So it's not really dependent on a specific type of device. You can use Windows, you can use HTML5, which is obviously the website we've previously shown you, Apple or Android devices, again, very easily and obtainable by most people have this sort of device already within their grasp. Again, this sort of stuff that you would generally have to purchase in this sort of solution is managed now within the Windows Virtual Desktop environment. So you would no longer need to worry about any of this section in the blue here. It's all taken care of outside, and you don't see the costs in regards to having to that, as well as the diagnostics for anybody there that has compliance requirements. You know, we can pull logs, diagnostics, and like sort of SIEM information that you would generally see in a bigger organization or compliance requirement. And then again, all you need to worry about is this side here, and this is where SMS will help you through all this sort of section throughout this whole configuration, to be able to enable you guys to have a worry-free solution for you to be able to log in, just continue working and carry on as if you were working in the office. Again, this all ties back to the Windows Desktop Azure AD and AD domain services, which you would use to authenticate to make sure that this solution is as secure as possible for you going forward. Again, if you wanted a more of a Citrix or app type feel, Windows Azure Virtual Desktop does this as well. You don't have to have a desktop. You can literally just load up applications if that is something you are looking to have or require. So if you don't want the full-blown desktop, you can just load the applications themselves, and multiple of them if that is a requirement. So what I'm going to do now is show you something that may look scary. I'm going to show you the part where us as SMS can give you that value add in making sure that this is as worries-free as possible. But I would like to show you this next slide to help you understand what the background of this sort of solution looks like. So here on your right hand side here would be like a 2-server setup for Windows Virtual Desktop, and this would generally allow multiple users depending on the size of the machine you pick. So 25, 50, 100 users you could have on this sort of solution or upwards. And again, this is all segmented out. So we at SMS help design and do this architecture and develop this for you, so you don't need to worry about it. We build this out. Basically, all you need to do from us is saying, yeah, we like the idea of this solution. Can we build it? Not a problem. SMS will go away, and we do this for you from start to finish and aid you in every step of the way. So again, on the final slide here that we've got showing this sort of difference between the environments, you know, you've got your full or remote app desktops here, which you see on this side, which is in your specific subscription, so it's your tenancy. Nobody else can see this other than yourselves. You just identify what type of policies you want, if you want any at all. You know, do you want copy and paste? Do you want users to be able to see certain things? Do you want to have a folder which is only for specific people or apps for specific people, and then this side then is managed by Microsoft themselves, and then and as well as us being able to aid you in managing this section, we will look after this with Microsoft ourselves and make sure it is, again, as worry-free as possible. And because you no longer have to purchase any of this section here, or have to deal with licensing or a broker servers or any heavy hardware, it really does drastically drive down the price. So if you haven't had a look at this sort of solution before, I encourage you to get in contact with our sales team, the accounts people at SMS, just to have a quick look or even discuss whether this would be a viable solution for yourselves. So thank you for that. I'll hand you back over to Sarah.
Yep, so thanks for that technical insight, Michael. I'm sure the non-techies of us will agree that that's why we have the experts here in the business. So the next question is, how much does it cost? Okay, so you will be very surprised. Yes, it looks technically expensive. Completely agree with anybody who says that. Well above budget for a business is what it looks like. However, as anything in this world, looks can be deceiving. Adopting Azure Windows Virtual Desktop is a cost-effective, scalable solution to meet your business needs, no matter the size, but with no outlay for hardware or any equipment, even desktops. No CapEx, but now an OpEx, which looks great on the balance sheet. So now I'd like to open the floor for questions. See if we have any coming through from the attendees. Let's have a look. Okay, so we do have an attendee question, probably one for you, Michael. Okay, how does this solution compare with Citrix?
A very good question. I've worked with Citrix now for some time before SMS, and to be honest with you, it's a lot simpler. WVD makes it very easy for people to use. You'd find that the drastic change between WVD and Citrix is predominantly cost. Citrix can be quite complicated when you are dealing with certain aspects of the solution, which it will take too long to go through in this webinar, but licensing costs, obviously, you've got to deal with gateway servers, like I said before, broker servers, or you would probably invest in looking at Citrix Online. But unless you're after something massively different than what you've currently got, I would strongly advise you to have a look at Windows Virtual Desktop. It is an extremely beneficial way of moving forward and will obviously give you just as much capability and power as the Citrix environment would do, but for a drastically lot less.
Okay, thanks for that, Michael. Let's have a look. We have another question. So, okay, again, potentially one for me to throw at Michael. All these technical ones coming through. So, how secure is my desktop and files if they're now in the cloud rather than my office?
Great question again, and this all ties back into the compliance section that we were discussing before. Microsoft Azure and Windows Virtual Desktop is a great place, a platform for you to be able to make sure that your files and your data is connected securely. Again, you'd have that multi-factor authentication, the certain security policies that you would use in order to just authenticate to the platform there again. And the file situation in regards to WVD, Azure has a general standardization in regards to security, which uses FIPS, which people in compliance would be fully aware of, and that's encrypted at rest. The actual physical VMs themselves is encrypted, and so you can actually build up the security requirement regarding your specific business needs in order to facilitate what you need to be able to be compliant in, and the complexity is very easily driven and architected in to that solution, and we can certainly help with being able to make sure your business achieves that by partnering with yourselves and facilitating that for you.
Thanks for that, Mike. Again, another question, a very good one. We get asked this quite a lot. I'm sure Michael will elaborate more than I can. I have a file server in my office. Can we still access that, or is there a way to have a cloud file server?
Absolutely, yeah. So in regards to Azure, the cloud file server as well acts as the a normal standard file server that you would generally use. I mean, you could use multiple different methods like Azure Storage. Azure Storage gives you various different types of options you could use and benefit from, including file server solution. Again, within the Azure environment, you can easily just rebuild a normal file servers like you would do, and then you can do pairing connections to Azure as well from your on-premise. You could hybrid your solution, so you have no need, if you are at the point now where you want to still be able to access your on-prem environment as well from Azure WVD, we can facilitate that as well. And it's all part of the architecture and the design conversations we'd love to have with yourselves in regard to build up that solution to best serve your business needs.
Okay, another fantastic one that I've got to admit is a little bit above me, so definitely one for you here, Michael. Could all our WVDs have IP addresses on the same subnet? Can they have a fixed external IP address? Can we put them on the same subnet as our on-prem Windows machines? So do you need me to break that down, Michael, or have you got the whole
No, that's absolutely fine. Thank you. Yeah, so networking related question is great. Okay, so Windows WVDs, can they be on the same subnet? Absolutely, they can. Again, you don't need to have one WVD solution. You can have multiple WVD solutions if you want. Again, you can then segment this out in part of the whole network infrastructure design that you have or you publish with us, so we can help you go through that whole motion. Can they have fixed external IP addresses? Yes, they can. You can tether as many network cards or anything else external IP addresses to these systems as you want. Generally, it's not the normal practice you would do, because you would have external access to these systems anyway. You would have the built-in broker service that you'd get to be able to facilitate your login. And can we have on-prem machines on the same subnet? Yes, I can, because they're two different type of subnets. So the only complication there would be when you would then tether the two and hybrid the two together. But again, that's the architectural design thing that you would then incorporate when you are building out this solution. So anything's possible. That's what we're here to do and help you with. So again, I implore you that if you are interested in this solution, that you get in contact with our sales team and we can have that discussion to move this forward with yourselves. Okay,
another question. I am going to let Michael answer it, although I do know the answer. So yeah, but I am going to let Michael elaborate this one. Who manages the security? Simply Mail Solutions or Microsoft? It's a really good question, that one.
Yeah, both really. So Microsoft has security policies in place by default, and we then extend on that security with yourselves in dependence on your compliance requirement or any other requirement that you have, whether it be compliance or not, and we manage that security ourselves. And again, with the connection to Azure and the multi-factor authentication and the security policies, we can help and aid you do and go through that whole process with you. It's a fundamental question is, how secure do you want it? So we can have it as secure as we'd even secure your endpoint devices as well. So again, the solution is scalable, and we can facilitate any sort of requirement that your business has. Just get in contact with us, really, and we can aid you through this.
Okay, another question, which again is a really good one. Is this solution only available for large companies, or does it work for a handful of staff? I'm going to start off by answering that. It makes no difference how big or small your business is, it's scalable. So we have businesses utilising Azure with only 5 staff members, all working remotely, all needing the benefits and the security capabilities of Azure that Azure provides, all the way up to 2 of our Azure customers are, one is multinational, international based, spread all over different time zones, different data centers across the world. And the other one is UK based, but all over the UK, 24/7 business with huge compliance requirements. So the beauty with Azure is it's just very similar to Office 365, not one product fits all. It's scalable, and you pay for what you need as and when you need it. So if your business is a five staff business today, and then 6 months down the line it's grown to 50 users, but then all of a sudden you take it back down to 25, you scale it as you need. I'll let Michael, if Michael's got any more details to elaborate on that one at all.
Yeah, so as Sarah just stipulated there, it doesn't really matter what size you are, even if you're a 1 or 2 man band sort of solution. We can design Windows Virtual Desktop to benefit your business, and this all goes part and parcel of the scaling up and down of the systems. And again, within Azure, you only really use, you only pay for what you use. So if you only need a system available between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock, then you can facilitate that in the design, and those systems can be closed down. So the price of the solution isn't we spend all this amounts of money on licensing, all this amounts of money on database and management and support and everything else, and then we only use it 2 or 3 hours of the day. Azure would be your best solution for that sort of scenario. Again, it can scale up to, as Sarah said, multinational, thousands of people logging on at any one time, needing to facilitate remote working all over the globe, to literally, as I say, one or 2 man band. So the facility, the solution actually benefits everybody.
Okay, so we are running a bit short of time now, so one last question that's come through. Okay, so it's an example actually, so one for you, Michael. We have a large number of pet applications, which most, if not all, our on-prem Windows desktops have on them. Okay, what's the easiest way of getting our standard desktop build into WVD?
Oh, excellent question, that one. It's great. Yeah, so Windows 10, the solution, the feature that you see there is exactly the same as what you would see within your Windows 10 environment. The application itself, we can take that application, we can put that into WVD. If you have a specific machine build that you would like to be able to see in Windows Virtual Desktop, we can facilitate that. Again, with themes, backgrounds, you know, certain displays of applications that you may want, hidden applications that you may want for specific members of staff and not for others. And you know, the environment itself is designed to be able to facilitate the use of a multitude of applications. So if it's something you wish to demo or try before you see or you see into looking at purchasing the solution itself, we can trial that for you, or you can demo that there with ourselves, and you can see how that solution would work. But at this moment in time, I have yet to see an application which hasn't worked in this environment.
Thanks for that, Michael. So, yep, we've run out of time now for the questions, but it doesn't mean that you still can't submit them. Okay, myself and Michael will be available after the webinar to answer any questions. So, hope you've enjoyed our webinar and hope you can see how Simply Mail Solutions can drive your business and enhance your infrastructure forward. As I've said, Simply Mail Solutions are a gold CSP partner. So not only do you have the peace of mind that you've got expert knowledge from myself and Michael, but we can also enable direct access to Microsoft should that ever be required. No extra cost of that. That's the beauty of coming through a partner such as us. So I'd love to answer further questions that you may have, whether you've popped them on the feed, the Q&A, or whether you want to ask them afterwards, or even if you want to discuss your business needs further and scope out a few more bits and pieces. Therefore, please feel free to give me a call, ring the sales line, the number's on the screen, 01925 818 448, or ping an email over to sales@simplymailsolutions.com, where I will be more than happy to arrange a call between myself and Michael. So I look forward to hearing from you all soon, and would like to thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.